her day. I'm not gonna let the sheriff come get me.
Show up in shackles.
Put me in shackles. Take me down there. My mom was very spiritual, so I made it a point to match her spirituality.
When you were in Arnstead, had you at least turned a corner to where the version of you today, did your mom at least see? Welcome back to the channel. Today we conclude our first interview with Kelley Kierce, so ensure you've already seen the first half. Last time we ended with Kelley losing his mother while he was stuck in jail. In this episode, we'll see him begin the process to turn things around.
So, my mom was very spiritual, so I made it a point to match her spirituality.
From that moment?
Yep. She grew up in church, stayed in church in a little town called Bainbridge, Georgia. Never missed church. Her dad was a commissioner in town, a deacon in the church. My mom never smoked a cigarette, drank, nothing. And I said, what can I do to be just like her? And I opened that Bible and I plugged in to rebuild the spirit I once had as a child that she had taught me and my dad had taught me. And I said, I got to rebuild this spiritual, I need some spiritual healing to even have a chance to make it in this world at this point. So she passes. My brother and sister offered to pay the $300. Sheriff would come get me. And I said, no, it's her day. I'm not going to let the sheriff come get me.
Show up in shackles.
Put me in shackles. Take me down there. And, you know, I'm talking to my brother and sister after this, my mom passes. My brother and sister have lives of their own. So someone
now,
mentioned,
if I remember correctly, your brother and sister, they've been great.
absolutely wonderful.
Okay. So you were the troubled middle child, right?
Absolutely, I was. My sister's been at the same job since she was 18. She's only 2 years younger than me.
Wow.
Worked for the same company her entire life. My brother is a successful business owner who's done very well. So I'm the one that stepped out of bounds. You know, and it wasn't always like this. You know, it wasn't always in trouble. You know, my first wife and my sister were best friends.
Ooh.
So a lot of this devastated my sister as well.
Yeah.
It really hurt her. And so
you're in RSAT, mom's gone. I'm assuming, let me ask you a question. I hope it's not out of line, but did your mom, when you were in RSAT, had you at least turned a corner to where the version of you today, did your mom at least see?
She did.
Okay. That's a cool thing. I always...
She did. Even in the
she
county,
saw that.
even when I was in the county jail, I stayed there 5 months, and that's when she was going through a lot, trying to figure out what's wrong with her. And so we prayed together. We talked every single day, and she's still trying to help me. I mean, her life is coming to an end, and her love is so strong. She's still trying to figure things out for me. Still trying to call around. What can she do to help me get to another rehab, which I don't need. You know, I just don't need another, here you go, get out of jail, go to this rehab. I don't need that. The best thing that happened was Judge Marshall sending me to RSAT, where the cops took me to where I was going, and there was fence around it with wire.
Yeah.
And I wound up losing mom while I was there. And my brother and sister got lives, so I didn't want to impose on them. And someone mentioned North Georgia Works. And I thought about it and thought about it and thought about it, and something told me to come here. Maybe God put it on my heart, said, this is what I need to do. So I wound up leaving that program, being a leader in that dorm for 7 months of the 9 months I was there, and did well and was very respectful, never got rode up, did a good job, and wanted to do a good job and wanted to learn what I can learn. But I wound up here the same day I got out of there. My brother took me to Albany, come straight here that night. I rode here at, I think, 11 o'clock at night. And a couple guys met me out front. I was like, what am I getting myself into again? I'm a long way from home.
Yes, you are.
I'm a long way from home. Over 4 hours.
Well, what was it about coming up here? What drew you up here? I'm just curious. Like, what is it about I mean, you wouldn't know much about us. We're still a relatively young organization. And I
think that as far away from Albany is what I knew I needed.
Yeah.
I knew I needed to be away from Albany. I don't need to go back anywhere around there. I just know I'm going to see the same people.
And that's a great advice for anybody. A lot of times we tell people all the time, they want to rebuild in their city, and honestly, that's not possible, man. You got to get away and rebuild somewhere else, and it's a loss you got to write off, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's so hard to recover in the town that is your
It
trigger
is
and
hard.
all. It's just too many issues, too many traps.
A geographical change is what I needed. And I did that, and I did it 4 hours away. I went from southwest Georgia to northeast Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
Furthest away I could get
Mm-hmm.
without leaving the state. Of course, that wouldn't have been good for me to leave the state. Probably wouldn't have let me.
Yeah.
But I'm still on probation here. So I wound up here. I've been clean for a while, 14, 15 months, I think.
When you got here?
When I got here.
Mm-hmm.
And when I got through that door and I seen the spirituality part of this program and the church and the CR, I dove right in. I said, this is something I've missed for a long time. And I had a spiritual awakening maybe at this point, and I dove in. I've enjoyed so much this program has offered me. And I'm speaking for what I've been through here. And of course, not everything's always peaches and cream. You're going to have your ups and downs. I've been blessed with a job that I absolutely love, a company that I absolutely love, Caldwell Electric, that's done some wonderful things for me, has treated me like family, which is one of our business partners here at North Georgia Works. And just, everything about the whole situation. My 5th day here, I went to work.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't sit very long.
No.
5 days.
Yeah, you came with quite the resume when you got here.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were ready to. In fact, Caldwell essentially signed up to get access to you, right? Yeah. And we were like, what are we doing, man? This guy, I don't even know the guy. And he's already going into this. And for, because Caldwell's also been a real big supporter of ours, other than being a business partner. It's like, oh, well, there goes that. This dude's going to blow this. But right. They were ready for you, man, and they never blinked.
Yeah, I absolutely love them. And,
And you've done so well there. We got, 4 or 5 guys there now?
We have 5, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so, that's always a great testament when a guy is, because
yeah.
If if it worked for him, we're going to bring more in.
Yeah, so. And all those guys have done a great job. I none of them have much experience in the business, but they've caught on well. They work extremely hard, and that's Dylan, Cameron, Tommy, TJ. 3 of those guys have worked right under me, right with me this whole time, and I've enjoyed teaching them, learning from them as we've gone, as they've learned from me. And I always put God first, we do, and we work hard. And like every man should work hard. Mm-hmm. And we do that, and we are treated very well by Caldwell. So I'm very thankful.
I want to shift back just a second. You talked about you came through the door, and maybe you had like a spiritual awakening, right? What was it? Because we talked earlier in your story, you were talking about on multiple occasions, you said you were just dead.
Yeah.
No action I do creates any kind of emotion in me because I'm done. Obviously, mom passing opened you up a little bit, but what it is about just walking in the doors here, what did you experience? What were you looking for? What happened, like, for somebody else who might be in a situation that you are in? Like, what was it that really got you eyes open?
When I walked through, I felt God's presence. That was first thing foremost. You could feel the love in this place. And I revert always back to my first Hope Night. You got 20, 25 guys walking in this door from this community that don't know me, but they love the word. And just the love in that room on a Sunday night during Hope Time is, it's amazing how much these guys pouring, like Jason Lester, David Ash, which is my mentor. And to take the time out every Sunday and come spend an hour and a half with us, and shows how much they love God and how much they love us. And I enjoyed the church every Sunday morning. I went this morning and had a wonderful time at Chestnut Mountain. Amazing what God did in that room today by moving with some friends that just had graduated. And one went with me this morning who I went and seen last night for a few hours because he's going through something. Well, guess what? Let's see if I can help him get through that. And we're going to put God first. And I think that this morning was powerful. We went to the altar, and it's just, you see God moving in these guys, and we're not all perfect. So all of us, we may make a mistake. Some of us, maybe all of us, who knows? But we're going to make that mistake. But the question is, are the brothers in there? We're going to pick them right up. We're not going to talk about them. We're not going to set them down somewhere. We're going to pick this guy up. We're going to do what it takes, because I just spent 12 months with this guy. I got a lot of love for this guy, and he fell down.
It happens.
And it happens.
There's no magic bullet, right?
And
that's a big core belief in our philosophy, that there's not a magic moment where it all clicks.
It's not.
I mean, it's a journey, and there's going to be ups and there's going to be downs, and addiction's nasty, and to expect that everything just works out forever and ever, it's just not realistic. This is a long-term battle that needs long-term support. So yeah, I think it's cool that you picked up on that already. That's just our innate calling that we breed here. That, listen, man, this is a commitment to yourself and to your brothers.
Right.
And they're gonna pick you. You pick them up when they're down, and they're gonna pick you up when you're down. And
there's one thing I heard you say a long time ago, and I want to say this. I heard you say, you graduate out these doors will always be open. Mm-hmm. I heard you say that, and I've seen you do that for these guys, and that's a lot, and that's awesome that you do that, and you've always said that. Do what you're supposed to do in this program, graduate this program, and if you ever fall down like that, we got your back. Now, some may do it over and over again. And
sometimes they push that a little bit too far, but right. Yeah.
But in most cases, I've seen this happen. We've lifted them back up a few months later, put them back out there, and they're still doing pretty good. And that's awesome that you have set that.
Well, I mean, honestly, what's the alternative? To stand on something and throw a man out, or just take the pride hit and go, hey, listen, it didn't work this time. I'm not going to get mad at you because my program didn't work. Right? We got to win the man at the moment, right?
That's right.
And if there's hope down the road and we can get there eventually, we'll take it on the chin. But if we can keep you in your house, and we can keep you in your job, and we can keep you out of jail, and we can keep you in this building, then, man, we're going to keep fighting.
Yeah.
Right?
That's what I love about this program, the love and the fellowship, the brotherhood. It's a great place. The church on Sunday mornings, the people that come in from this community to give back on a Wednesday night, Miss Becky. It doesn't get much better than a woman that takes that time to come on a Wednesday and help
teach
us.
A class.
It's unbelievable in how knowledgeable she is and how much she loves us. Brings bags full of candy every time she comes. She's just one of the most wonderful people I've ever met. And I hug her neck every time she walks through that door. She's just a beautiful soul that God put here for us, me, them. So I'm thankful for the spiritual growth I've gotten in this program. Has been what I needed for a long time.
Been interesting watching you. I think your story is really it's a different story than would normally be told. A lot of times we have guys that have thrown away a lot, burned a lot of bridges, made a lot of mistakes, and they've overcome that to what a level where I think content is a good word. They're happy. It's a good place for them to be. Sometimes there's just a real white knuckle hold on to that spot. If we can just hold on to that long enough, that's the end game, right?
Right.
But I think what is so powerful about you is the idea that if you have the talent and you have the passion, then you can turn your message into your message, like Jason always says all the time, right? But how you can literally is counterintuitive as it is to say, hey, listen, I've had a really messed up run, so therefore I probably should not be able to lead or to be. But how in this world, if you really have the courage to be honest about what you did and where you're going, like, you can actually not just hit a base level of normal, you could become a leader, right, and people will follow you. And it's a really beautiful thing. And there's a lot of men out there that think their lives are over and don't even realize not only is it not over, not only can you overcome, like, you can actually grow into something that is a force against where you are right now. And you're a perfect example of that. I mean, from not from day one, but pretty close to day one, man, every chance you had, instead of just doing it, you did it in a way that showed leadership. And in turn, everyone around you, especially in your graduating class, will all, to a man, will talk about you and a couple other guys that graduated with you as how much of an impact you had on them, which is just a really cool thing to think.
Right.
I mean, you're maybe a couple months ahead of them, right?
Right.
How quickly, if you let God just kind of throw that away, how you could step up. So like I'm curious, like what was it? Does leadership just come naturally to you, or has this been like a conscious decision? Maybe since your mom's gone, that hey, I'm gonna.
I think leadership's always come natural to me.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it been the captain of the baseball team or the senior coordinator in RSAT or to the resident manager here. It's just always come natural, I guess, and I do the work for it.
You do. I mean, it's natural, sure.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, you have taken on a lot of challenges.
I have.
All right, so I don't want to just chalk it up for people who don't know you to think, oh well, he's just that guy. No, man, you have put yourself in position to take on challenges. You've faced challenges head on, right? Sometimes before we even have a chance to address it, you're out in front of us, right? So, like, I'm curious what you would say to somebody else who has been where you've been and says, I got nothing to offer. I'm just a bum. I'm a loser. I screwed it all up. But that is clearly not. You're a living example that is not a true state.
It's not.
So, what would you tell a guy that says, "Hey, listen, you could turn this into something, and people will follow you"?
I would tell them to focus on the prize at the end, that relationship with God, and focus on a career, focus on being a leader. Be that guy, strive to be that guy. Don't give up if you fall second best. You were there to be second best for a reason, or third best for a reason. There's always a place for every single person, whether it's first, second, third, or fourth. And I've been all four here, and that's okay. I learned to deal with the several personalities of staff here at North Georgia Works, which has taught me several different things. I know when Mark speaks, I know what he's speaking about. I know when Rick speaks, what he's speaking about. I know when Michael speaks, everybody listens. You know what I mean?
Debatable, but
I know. I had to throw some more fun in there. But I've enjoyed working with every single person here, from the top to the bottom, to the guy that just walked in the front door, to the guy that just left yesterday. Tommy came in right after me. We've worked together the whole time together. Tommy and I are close. Now, do we give each other a hard time? Absolutely. But we do it in a way that's, hey, I love you, buddy. You know what I mean?
Listen, this is a brotherhood. It's a fraternity. It's
right.
We're warriors in a trench.
Right.
I mean and there's no way around it, man.
And Tommy was slow to get there. He had some issues up front.
Correct.
And I did whatever.
Terrible attitude to begin with.
Oh, well, it still ain't that great, but he's pretty good. He's a lot better than what he was.
Now that you brought it up, and he can be watching, if you had told me a year ago that guy was going to graduate and be an aftercare, I'd have laughed. Like, that guy ain't going to make 3 months.
Ain't got a chance.
Not a chance.
No
grumpy,
chance.
Grumpiest man.
He is so grumpy.
And yet he has been, we were here at Christmas. I saw the kids, and then we had that family hope night, and he's running around with his daughter. And,
yeah.
I mean, it's just cool to watch.
It is. His dad's a part of our hope night now.
No, I did not know that.
Tommy's dad is he's here on a regular basis for hope night.
That's a cool full circle moment. I didn't know that.
Yeah, his dad is a good guy. Mr. Jarrett's in our group with Mr. David Ash, and very knowledgeable about the Bible. And so that tells me I can already see that Tommy came from a good family. He just had some mistakes like I did, and I made him hug me Friday before he left. He did not want to.
No, that's not his style, no.
But he did. He did.
He's going to be on this camera here soon, too, so we'll get on
sure
him. That'll be a terrible interview, by the way.
But
we'll drag it out of him.
To see Tommy hug anybody was something I never thought I'd see. I said, buddy, can't leave till you give me a hug.
I mean, watching him, but I think that's a testament to you to some extent, too. Like, I think we built a culture around here.
Yeah.
We pride ourselves on that culture, but ultimately, at the end of the day, I mean, we can only give an opportunity. You guys have to run with it, and then do something with it. And I think that culture, I think that's a testament to some of the culture y'all built, that some of these guys around you became
Right.
better men, right?
Right. It made me a better man.
Mhm.
So I'm thankful for all of that. And
Well, that leads to the real question.
okay.
You got a job working with Caldwell where they think the world of you, right? You're a leader there, just like you are everywhere else. Bright future there, big company, can do a lot for you. But you made a very humbling decision that I want to talk about. You have the ability to do a lot of things right now. You come into a building like ours. We have a good facility, but it's still an old jail. There's nothing we can do about it, right? You're in a building with a bunch of grumpy dudes that are going through a lot, right? And yes, it's a positive environment, but it's still a hard year, and it's not always the most fun environment. And so those guys, understandably, when they get to a point, they're ready to move on. And we have an aftercare program, so you don't have to leave and still be a part of what we do here.
Right.
You can go live in your own apartment and have your peace, but you made a very different decision.
Right.
You have decided, despite all the opportunities you have, to stay in this building longer.
Right.
To be what is really the house dad. We can call it whatever you want to.
Whatever you want to.
But you're the old man that got to fix everybody's problems, right? And you got to hear everybody complain. What in the world made not that I'm surprised that you did. I don't want to paint that picture. But I mean, you have so many opportunities. Like, you don't need to stack the cash. You don't need to. I mean, you're doing it purely because you want to be here and keep giving back. So tell me a little bit about that decision.
I think for me to be able to keep it, I got to give it away on a daily basis. I know these guys have. I know the hard day at work, what it feels like to work that 50-hour week out there in the hot sun. I know what the attitudes are coming. Let's see what we can do to get through it, because I went through it, and it was rough. And fortunately, I had some guys here that were showed me how to deal with certain things like that and how to pray. And I'm thankful for all them guys that showed me that. And I think at the end of the day, this is where I feel I need to be right now. I enjoy being the peacemaker or the guy that someone needs advice from, because I learned a lot from these guys too. Believe it or not, I've been through the program, but every day I'm probably going to learn the most from that guy that just walked in that door, because I need to know where he came from to remember where I came from. So I think my heart is in that guy that just walked in. I want to see him succeed, and if I can help him do that in whatever way, whether it be a spiritual foundation that I built with him, whether it be a AA big book that we need to talk about, or whatever it is, a family that your mom not doing well, or whatever it might be, whatever the situation might be. And I feel comfortable in that setting. So I enjoy talking to these guys. Now, do I need a break? And am I going to call Michael on a Thursday and say, Michael, I need to get out of here for the weekend? Yeah. And I know that Michael is going to say, Kelley, go take your break. And that's understandable. But at the end of the day, I love each and every one of these guys.
Well, that leads me. So part of the exercise of this process that we're doing, and one of the reasons I wanted to, interview you first, is that this is a fresh experience. Recently graduated, recently taken those first steps into this new world. But also because I told our staff when I was kind of picking candidates, I said, listen, documenting Kelley's journey over the next 12 months is a fascinating thing to me. Because, on paper, got this great job. He's already turned the corner in a lot of ways. His future's bright. And yet, for some reason, you don't have to spend a whole lot of time with him to see that. I don't know if he even feels it yet, but the ministry calling is about to really start pulling on him. Like, this is as easy on paper as it says to go be a very well-paid man at a job where you can be a foreman and guide men from the job, which is a very cool thing to do, which would be, under most circumstances, we could say that's we couldn't bigger success then sending more guys to work with you at Caldwell that you work
Right.
with them. But it feels like there might be something greater in this for you. And I'm curious if you have sensed that yet. And if you have, what are your thoughts on what the next 12 years might look like for you?
Well, I want to be. I wouldn't say the
Sorry,
ministry.
Daniel, by the way, if he says something and you don't hear.
The ministry part of it, you know, is fascinating to me. It's something that I need to know more about.
Okay.
You know, do I love church? Absolutely. Do I want to be a deacon in the church? Absolutely. Do I want to be the preacher they're preaching? Probably not.
Mhm.
It's not me. But the deacon in that church is something that I see me doing. And that, you know, Hope Night up here every Sunday night, I wouldn't miss it for the world. You know, I just couldn't see myself ever missing what those men do and what they've taught me for the last year of what a man should do, a real Christian should do.
Mhm.
And I'm thankful for that. And that they've instilled that into me because I've seen these guys work in these men's life. And it's amazing that most of these guys, they get it. You know, eventually they get it. Like a Tommy Jarrett, eventually he got it. That we thought it would never would happen, but it did. And that's amazing.
So you want to be a part of that, though.
Absolutely.
So you want to be part of that cycle.
Absolutely.
So 1 year from now, when I bring you back in, or maybe even 6 months from now, when I bring you back in for a quick update, check in with Kelley.
Okay.
Where do you think you're going to be?
I'm probably going to be in a nice little 1-bedroom apartment with a nice vehicle, working for Caldwell Electric and working for North Georgia Works part time.
Really?
Yes, absolutely. I think you know that. This is where I want to be 2 or 3 days a week, is here at North Georgia Works. I think it's good for me, and I hope it's good for them. Not as a resident manager, you know.
No argument there.
But you know what I mean.
No, I think you were way overqualified to be a resident manager.
Yeah, I really want to.
But I like it. I like that you were willing to take the servant's path.
Yeah.
That was profound to me. You could have very easily said that was beneath you.
Yeah.
So I watch those things.
Yeah.
Quietly. Because I know that my journey through ministry was rough. And a lot of times it is not birds and rainbows. It's deserts and
Sure.
and fire and blinding lights and all sorts of things that lead you down this path. So I've watched how you have been humble enough to do a role that you didn't have to do.
Right.
It doesn't get much more frustrating than that, right? All the bad, very little of the good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you just got to have a great perspective and understanding what you're doing kingdom work and
Right.
do your best to balance it. So it's been fun to watch that. Again, I think that speaks volumes of what kind of leader you are and why people follow you, because I think you put your money where your mouth is. You're not a talker in a world full of talkers.
Yeah.
In a world full of talkers, you're a leader. But I do want to know, it's hard to not listen to your story. And, everywhere you've been a leader, a kingpin, top of the pyramid, even here. You were, magna cum laude graduate of North Georgia Works, right? In a lot of ways. But what is your ministry goal? Like, what do you think you can actually accomplish in ministry if you can put the same kind of talents to, what you did as a fence and as a dope dealer? What happens if you put that level of energy into ministry? Where do you think this is going to end up for you?
Well, the sky's the limit. I mean, if I really want to put it all there, I know I could do a lot of great things, and it's something that I really haven't thought a lot about, Michael. When it comes to that part of it, I guess I've been sober 30 months, and I'm thankful for the path I've taken. As far as spiritually lies, spiritually I've grown a lot. And I guess it's just something I want to see play out for a little bit longer. As far as the ministry part of it, it's just something I'm just not sure about.
That's fun. That's fine. It's a great answer. And so that's how I could say we're proud of the work you did here.
Mhm.
You've been a tremendous asset to us and a lot of Ben. And my response to that is we are just as excited to see how it plays out as it is. And so I cannot wait till we can get you on here again. And I guarantee anybody who's going to follow your story, there's going to be some big updates and some fun things, maybe some lows.
Yeah.
But I think there's going to be some pretty big highs. And I would caution everybody to stay tuned to the Kelley Kierce story because I think it's just starting.
Yeah, I think it's going to be good.
Anyways, I want to thank you again for everything you do for us.
Okay.
Your desire to be an employee is not going to be a burden. It's not going to be, we can work on that. So,
Awesome.
Look forward to seeing what you do, and thanks for coming, man.
All right. Thanks, Michael. I appreciate everything North Georgia Works has done for me.